Yeah, very welcome to our next live talk on Facebook from PAGO, the Pan-Armenian-German organization. My name is Ricardo, yeah, and today we have, or I welcome our guest, Sevan Hambarsoomian. Hello, Sevan. Nice to have you here with us.
Hi, Ricardo. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, nice. So I will just shortly introduce PAGO, so the Pan-Armenian-German organization. We were established in the end of last year, and our main aim is to bring together the Armenian and German economies. Yeah, and we also have in this network the Armenian diaspora as well as the whole German-speaking area in the EU. So, and yeah, just one sentence about me. My name is Ricardo. I am project manager with PAGO, and yeah, I lead this series of live talks on Facebook, and I'm very glad that today I can talk to Sevan Hambarsoomian. So why we asked Sevan to have an interview with us, because he has entrepreneurial experience as he founded his own company. He will tell more about this later by himself. And he is based in Germany. You're in Cologne, as far as I understand, yeah?
Exactly, that's right.
Exactly. And but you also do business with Armenian companies. So, Sevan, feel free to introduce yourself with some sentences. And yeah, maybe also tell more about your personal background. Why are you in Cologne? Are you when have you moved to Cologne, for example?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again for inviting me. I'm also very honored to be here, to be honest. And it's funny also to talk with you in English, because we both speak German, and we did the entire setup we did in German, and right now we speak English, and this is actually funny for me. Yeah, to my about my company. So I founded my company last year, and before the Corona crisis. And what we do is we help our clients to push forward their data projects. So most companies are finding their data right now and are evaluating their data and thinking about how we can use this data for pushing the company forward to make strategic and as well operating decisions. And Smart DeVision helps these companies to find ways to make data more usable for the end user, and helping them to use their data for decision making. So this is about the company, and what we do is we are helping our clients to push forward their projects. So mostly when you think about data projects, most companies think about we need developers and we need even more developers and money and developers. But at the end of the day, you have to bring together developers and the business, and connect them, and tell the business what the problem of the developers is, and tell the developers what the problem of the business is. And this is our main task. We are connecting both parties together and pushing forward the project.
Great. I think we can later talk more about your detailed activities in your company. What I would like to know, you are from a personal background. Have you set up your business in Cologne because you have always been living in Cologne, or what was the reason?
I got your point. So we moved to Cologne when I was 7 years old. So my personal background is Iranian-Armenian. So I was born in Tehran, and we moved to Germany when I was a little kid. And there was this Iran-Iraq war, and there was a time where we decided to move away from Tehran. And our plan was at that time to move to Germany, stay here for a while, and then move to the United States. And this plan never happened. I don't know the exact reasons why it didn't happen, but we decided to stay in Germany, and I grew up here in Germany, studied at the University of Wuppertal, and yeah, met also my PhD at the University of Wuppertal, worked several years in the consulting business, and then I started my own company. So from my personal background, I have a mother which is purely Iranian Armenian. My father's family is originally from Erzurum, which is in nowadays Turkey, West Armenia, and they moved. My grandmother was deported to Baghdad, lived several years in Baghdad, and then they moved to Iran as well. And that's where my father was born and met my mother and got married and all that stuff.
So that's yeah, quite an impressive family history.
Yeah.
But then at one point you came. Yeah, I shouldn't say back, but you like the way you found somehow to Armenia. Yeah. How did it come? Like, when was the first time you visited Armenia? How was the contact established?
That was actually very early when I was small. I think I was 13 or 14 years old. That was the first time we visited Armenia. The reason was, to be honest, that I have one aunt living in the United States, or several aunts living in the United States, and one aunt living in Iran. And for me, it was not possible to travel to Iran because there was this issue with going to the military. And after Armenia was independent and people traveled to Armenia and back, we said, all right, this is a place where we want to go and to visit more often. So the first time we visited Armenia as tourists, and after a couple years, my aunt from Iran moved to Armenia, and she nowadays lives there.
When was it? That was in the 90s.
That was in the 90s. So they moved to Armenia, I think 95 or 96. And since then, we have a strong connection to Armenia because we have an aunt there. I have one cousin and two cousins in Armenia. And I visit them very regularly if I can and I have time and to go there.
Yeah, great. So you already have a long relationship to Armenia.
Exactly.
And about your business activities and also in activities when you have been working for a big company, have you already tried to have also business contacts to Armenia, or was it like at the beginning just on the private?
Phase? At the beginning it was just tourism and on a private level, so visiting Armenia, see the family there and also see different places in Armenia. Then at the time when I was a PhD student, I had a chance to travel to Armenia and talk about my research, and I also are well connected to the central bank in Armenia, which hosted the entire events there. And after finishing my PhD and starting working for a big consulting company, I worked several years for Accenture. I never had, to be honest, the possibility to get connected with Armenian business people, and also never saw a project in Armenia from Accenture, but Accenture is such a big company, I don't know. But right now, as I started my own company, I have some connections to Armenia, and we are thinking about projects in Armenia, but right now we are not in that situation to have projects and need developers, for instance, or designers which are located in Armenia and can say, look, I have people there and I can arrange some project work in Armenia if the
But can
client
you
is
maybe say
interested.
something about the development that you have been observing then already for many years? Yeah, when you have been the first time in Armenia in the 90s, then you have been
Yeah.
You could observe like the whole development the last 2 decades. And
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
what is your impression about it?
Let's start from here. So when you visit Armenia and you're a young student and PhD student and start just in a big company, you are not a decision maker to say, listen, we have this project and let's bring some of these projects to Armenia. So the perspective changes when you are a decision maker, when you have your own company and you can say, okay, I make the decision to bring projects near shore or offshore, then it is an option for you. But as someone who has not, he cannot make decisions in a very big company, it's difficult to think in that perspectives. That's a simple reason.
Okay. But I mean, like, you are well connected in the Armenian IT scene as well, or tech scene. And you like your own company works in the IT field in Germany and also, I don't know, internationally as well?
And
or are you specialized on the
now
German market?
Yeah, right now just Germany.
German market. Okay. So, but do you have you seen any Armenian companies, for example, you would say, okay, this company for sure is already like in the position to enter also the German market, or do you say, okay, it's just in the beginning in Armenia with Yerevan or Gyumri with all the startups coming there and also startup hubs, etc., and accelerators and the venture capital funds, etc. So, what is your personal impression from the development in the Armenian IT field and their potential to cooperate with the German business?
Yeah. I mean, I see that there is a lot of things going on right now in Armenia, especially when the prime minister changed and Nikol Pashinyan is now the new prime minister of Armenia. I see there's a lot of things going on also in the tech world, in the tech community of Armenia. And there are a lot of companies which I am connected to on a, let's say, first personal, very high level, because first of all, you have to understand their business model. You have to get some connections. But I have to say, I don't have a deep understanding of the community and of the structure of the IT tech world and IT tech community especially. But from the beginning, you have IT projects and you need developers. And the journey always starts with connecting with people and having projects and calling those people and say, listen, we have this project and we want to kick this project forward. Is this something that we can work together with you guys? My experience right now is that I met companies and my challenge as a German project manager is always that I need to have good developers and I need to have someone who is experienced. So this is always a challenge for me because people tend to go and say we are in the competition with price. So we are in competition and our let's say our competitive advantage is our price. And this is sometimes difficult because German companies are willing to pay well for projects and are also willing to pay well for developers, but they have to understand what kind of experience the developer has and what kind of coding and program experience they have. So for instance, when I talk with developer and say, yeah, what is your specifications and what are the three main languages you can write in, they say, I can do everything. I know Python, I know CSS, I know PHP, and etc. And this is difficult because it's not creating yeah, you have to understand the people, and you have to see what kind of background they have to engage in projects. And this is something what I saw in the past.
And do you have any idea maybe or advice for development teams from Armenia, how they can gain trust, for example, from the German business, how they can build like a closer bridge or a bridge to the German market in this regard, and also to show their what they can do, what they can offer.
Trust is very important, and trust is the, let's say, is the main driver in business. So especially when it comes to IT, because when there is no trust, it's getting difficult in IT, because in IT world, when you develop programs, you develop, let's say, systems, portals, whatever, and you do the integration, and the integration doesn't work well, and then everything is messed up, and your employees are, are calling you or emailing you and writing tickets and saying, look, the system is not working, I cannot do my work. And this is difficult when you say, I do everything for less money than the competition. It's not gaining trust, and you should gain trust in other features. And you say, listen, what I really do well is I have experience in several projects, for example, in JavaScript, React. This is what we have our main focus on, and we have 3 or 5 big projects there. And if not, then play with open cards and say, listen, we are at the beginning. We have several small projects here in Armenia, or several projects in Russia, whatever, in this coding languages. And you have to gain trust, and it's better to start with small projects and gain trust from there, and then say, okay, this is a small project and it's a reference for me or for my company, and we can go from there and say, listen, we did small projects, which is well, because we are a small company right now, but we want to go big and we want to work with you guys. Let's start with a small project and see where it goes from there.
And yeah, that's quite interesting, like to what you say, okay, better focus on quality, yeah, not on we are the cheapest in the market at first. And what I also would like to know from you, your assessment towards in how far Armenian companies should, for example, focus on specific industries in Germany, for example. Are there industries who have like a very huge need? Are there, I don't know, industries where it's very hard to operate for foreign companies, IT companies?
Let's go a step back and talk about, because we talked about the competition in different countries in our first call, and we talked about India, for example. We talked about Ukraine, and we talked about Belarus. And if, from my point of view, Armenians shouldn't compete with these countries on their level, because if you have a look on India or Ukraine, these are big markets, and you say, if I compete with these countries, I need to ramp up in a project phase up to 50 to 100 developers. And this is quite difficult for Armenia because I don't know how many developers in Armenian live, but for sure there live more developers in India and in Ukraine than in Armenia. I don't talk about quality at all. I talk about the quantity. And when it comes to quantity, Armenian has a disadvantage. And this is something we have to be honest with ourselves and say, look, this is not our competitive advantage. We have less developers than India has, but we have specific areas where we are very good in. And let's talk about these areas. And coming back to your question, there are different areas where, I mean, every industry across Europe, across Germany needs developers, needs designers, UX, UI designers. What Armenian companies should do is find niches where they can operate from, and starting from there, if you start with one project and do well jobs and deliver a well project, I'm very positive that you get recommendations for other projects. So finding a niche, and it's up to the company. When they say, I really like to work in the automotive company, great. When they say, I want to work for an automotive supplier company, that's also great. But be specific and be precise and say, this is the area I want to work. I start with small projects and I start a journey from there.
I think it's also important when you mentioned, for example, the automotive industry, and there's like in Armenia, there's just a few companies, or of course not as many as, for example, in big markets like Germany, France, who do really industry, in this industrial production. And I think it's also very important for Armenian companies to understand which industries even exist in the German market, and where they can be active. And so this is like closing the gap or the knowledge gap about the German market. There are Armenians, of course, have to learn about the German market, but also when you say, okay, in Germany, for sure, every CIO knows about India, knows about probably also Ukraine, Belarus might be, I don't know how famous is Belarus actually within the CIO scene in Germany. But what about Armenia? What is your impression? Which stand has Armenia as a country and also as a tech hub in Germany and in the German IT scene? Let's say it like this.
Yeah, exactly. And from my point of view, we should go into competition, and we should say we are competing with Ukraine and we are competing with India, but we cannot compete on the same level and same features. So let's say, for example, if India is competing on price and Ukraine is competing on something else, we cannot go into this competition and say we are doing the same competition, because at the end, as I said, in a project you have to ramp up your team, and India and Ukraine can ramp up much easier than Armenia can. And this is a disadvantage, and we should not focus on our disadvantages. We have to be aware of them. We should say, all right, we have these disadvantages, but our advantage is we have great designers. They have a good understanding of design. They have good understanding of how a user uses a tool, and we have great, let's say, front or back end developers in certain areas. And one thing that I have also seen in the startup scene in Germany or around the world is that most startups focus on the hot and sexy topics right now. So a few years ago, it was fintech. Everybody were crazy for fintech companies. Then it was insurance tech companies. Right now, it's artificial intelligence. And when I talk with people, they're based in Armenia, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but when they talk and say, I have the next big artificial intelligence solution, that might be the case, but you have to be aware that you competing with people in the Silicon Valley who have really good connections to the big tech companies such as Google, such as Amazon, such as you name them. And competing with them is very difficult. At least you have found something and a niche where you say, yeah, they're doing this and this and that, but they never thought about this. Then it's fine. But when people talk and say, yeah, we are developing an artificial intelligence, say, oh, okay, good. 95% of German companies, 98% of German companies are not ready for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is here and they're right there. They don't even have the back end to do something in artificial intelligence. They are right now migrating their data to a single source. That's how far they are. So don't jump on this on the hot topics right now and say, yeah, we're doing this, because then you're competing again against really good developers and really good companies from the financial background, from their investors background, from their consulting background in the Silicon Valley, and as well other companies that are in these hubs where they can compete with the really low price. This is the one thing. The second thing is, most companies do not focus on their clients. They focus on the topics. So they talk about topics and talk about, I have this great app, I have this great fintech solution, I have this great artificial intelligence solution. Good, check mark. What about the client? So what does the client need? What is the client's pain point? What is the general manager's pain point when it comes to the IT? What brings him nights in the night when he lays in the bed, thinking about, oh, when the back end doesn't work, my sales team can't go out because they don't have the data, and then I cannot monitor them and cannot show them how they improve their sales, for example. And thinking about the customer, thinking about their customer journey. What is their journey? Where are they right now? What are the pain points? How can I help? How can I serve? And when companies think more about serving other companies, then you are in a spot where you can say, okay, I can now help you. And then companies never ever negotiate about the price. They never say, yeah, I need less than that. Listen, they say, no, this is the right guy. He knows what to do and he helps us. We pay him the price he wants to.
Yeah, that sounds really impressive, your devices. But what I wonder, how can Armenian companies really understand the needs of the German market and of German, for example, SMEs? Yeah, how to create such an exchange? Yeah, because even like now we have, especially the Corona times, so even international travel got very difficult. Yeah, maybe it will, or hopefully it will relax soon. Yeah. But what is your idea about it? How can Armenian companies understand what is really the real need of German companies?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about the lockdowns, at least in Germany, where that people understood that working remotely is possible and also works well in terms of being efficient and being effective and delivering projects. So people got the click in their head and their mind and say, okay, I understood that remote working is nothing that should be done only by Silicon Valley companies. me as a German, let's say, automotive supplier company, can work as well remote or partly remote. This is certainly an advantage for Armenian companies or nearshore, offshore companies. But I understand what challenges these companies have. So being in a market, understanding the market is very important. So getting connected with people in the markets with the IT understanding or background is crucial, because if English is the language in IT, that's for sure, and understand that. But often you have German companies where people like still to speak German, and you have also people who speak English, but not on that level to communicate with a foreigner. And especially people from nearshore countries also do not speak on that level to understand each other. So English is there, English helps, but there's still a barrier. And people do not have to be in Germany. I mean, if Armenian companies want to make business in Germany, they do not have to have an office here in Germany. But at least they have to understand the market. They have to understand the specific problems of the market, the criteria, the mentality of the people, etc. So it's not always the language, it's not always being here is very important, but it's more how, again, what is the problem of the German general manager? What makes him stay awake during the night and thinking about his IT system, or the CIO of a company? Understanding that helps tremendously get in contact with these people and make also business with them.
Check. So we Yeah, I just checked on Facebook. We don't have any questions so far, but I have one
Please.
Last question, maybe, about your wishes or maybe advices to Armenian entrepreneurs. What is yeah, you founded your own company by yourself. So at first, why did you decide to have your own company? And which advice can you give to general entrepreneurs in Armenia and Germany in this process?
Yeah, for me, it was actually always clear to become an entrepreneur. So as I was a little boy, I was always looking up to the people who were entrepreneurs. So I really enjoyed seeing entrepreneurs, and I always dreamed the dream to become an entrepreneur. That was the first thing. But to be honest, most entrepreneurs have a romantic connection to being an entrepreneur. This is something that you learn when you become an entrepreneur, that it's not the fancy stuff that you have to do, it's the things you have to do for your client, which brings the project, the system, the program, etc. Pushed it to the next level. My advice to Armenian entrepreneurs especially is don't sell too cheap. Don't go out there and say we are competing over price. Price is something which is sensitive, and you have to have a reasonable price, but don't try to sell with your price. It's more important for Armenian companies to understand the market where they want to make business in. So if France is the market you want to make business, go to France, understand French companies, understand their mentality, their structure, how they communicate, what is important in the communication, etc. If you want to do business in Germany, then understand the German market, understand how German project managers, how German IT managers, how German coder work, what is important for them. And understanding these markets and understanding the problems in these markets brings you far more to a project than only selling over the price. And start with small projects and say, listen, this is my focus areas, this is what I did, and be honest, because Germans love honesty, and they really they see when you're not honest, and they really understand, okay, this guy is not honest. I don't know why he's not honest, but I have this feeling he's not honest. Be honest. If you never done a project, say, listen, I never did a project, but in the next 2 weeks I will deliver this for you. Is that a deal? And most people will give you a chance when you see that you are honest and you're hardworking. So be honest and work hard. It doesn't matter when you work in Germany, France, United States.
So you say it's even more rewarding when you are honest from the beginning. Yet you say, what are your capacities? What are your possibilities, etc.
And this is
not to promise something like very huge, and in the end,
and this is a mentality what we sometimes have. We are good salespeople. We can sell good things because we are very confident and can also communicate very confident. This is good when you are when you have certain understanding and experience in an area. But if you don't have experience in an area, be honest and say, listen, I do not have experience in this area, but I have experience in other areas, and I will deliver in the next 2 or 4 weeks this, and that. And if you deliver this and you work hard and are honest and fast and really do your best, then people will reward this, I'm sure.
Yeah. Nice. So we got a question from actually some viewers, and the question is directed to it says United States give a lot of money to, or from also the Armenian diaspora. So there are many Armenians who invest in Armenia, from who are based in the United States. Do you think that something similar with the Armenian diaspora in Germany can happen, also towards Armenia, so that there can be a closer link line between the German Armenian diaspora and Armenia in economic terms?
For sure. I mean, the German Armenians are not that well organized than the Armenians in the United States are, or in France, for example, but we are still organized. We are a smaller community for sure. We do not want to compete over helping you guys the same way that the US Armenians or France Armenians do. But for sure, I mean, we have to figure out how well it will work to help you guys, and you also certainly can help us, because before I started to answer this question, if you look at it from the standpoint of a German developer, the German developer is very rare. They pay good salaries to a German developer, and they usually work from 9 to 5. This is great for the German developer, but this is a competitive advantage for you guys. If you say, look, we can deliver over the weekend and we can deliver overnight, this is something which makes you outstanding at the beginning. So at the beginning, you can say, we do everything what you want to do, we want this project. And this is maybe how we can help you guys. I mean, Germany's economy is not that big compared to the United States, but we're only 6 hours flight from Armenia. So this is maybe also an advantage.
2 hours difference. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, great. So is there anything else you would like to add? I don't know, about the German Armenian relations, or about entrepreneurship in Armenia, in Germany, about maybe your personal future, I don't know, in Armenia, in Cologne, or
yeah, again, I would love to have projects with Armenians and Armenian developers, to be honest. And I'm also very open to, if you guys say, listen, we have a well plan which we talked about, and we have a good plan for entering the German market. So if you need help entering the German market, and say, I need some connections in Cologne, I need some connections in the North Rhine-Westphalia area, in Munich or somewhere else. And if this is not just a cheap, I need connections, then people, and especially me, are open to help you guys. But it's just, I need connection. But yeah, but what are you doing? What precisely, how you can help me, and how can I help you, and how you can help clients in Germany? If you have answered these questions, then happy to connect with me and happy to help you entering the German market. But again, don't try to find quick deals and make quick money and easy and cheap deals. The German market is very special when it comes to being fast and doing fast deals.
Quite conservative.
Yeah, they're very hard, but when you start doing deals with them and they see that you're good and you're working honest and hard, they will always come back to you. And this is my recommendation if you want to come to the German market.
Great. So we have another question by Sevan, and he asked, dear Sevan, are you interested in helping Armenian developers to understand the needs of German clients market and get projects? Have you ever tried to contact them? So I think them, it means like they are Armenian developers. So yeah, so yeah, that's already a very direct questions. Of course, you have partly answered it, but maybe directly.
I have connections to the Armenian market, sure. And I'm also open to help Armenian developers, again, sure. But I cannot do the homework for you guys. You have to do the homework and understand and say, listen, Sevan, I want to do projects in this and that area. I have this and that skills, background, and I want to find projects. Just saying I want to do projects in Germany doesn't bring projects from Germany. So this is not the right approach for that.
Yeah, well said, of course. We have one more question from the community, and it's about startups. Do you have any favorite startups in Germany / Armenia?
Oh, Germany / Armenia. Think about it. Yeah, one of my co-mates who is sitting here in Germany in a co-working space. So we are working in the WeWork building here in Cologne. So one of my co-mates who is not here right now, Robbie. Maybe I can link you guys, so maybe you have a German speaker at your your channel. So what Robbie and his company did, they actually do web development, but they found that projects are going decreasing in the Corona lockdown time, and they found a company which is packing food from local restaurants, and bringing it to the customer. So there is something similar already going on in Germany. They're delivering Deliveroo, Lieferando. There are different companies in that area, but they saw that all the restaurants out of the central town of Cologne and central town of the big cities are not in the network of this big delivering companies, and they started their own delivering company, just a platform where restaurants can offer their meals, and it's going very well. It's getpacked.de, This is my favorite German company. I don't know Armenian companies, and it's difficult to say what my favorite Armenian company is.
Okay, then I will have to recommend you some.
Yeah,
later.
please. You can shoot me an email and recommend me some.
Yeah.
But
there
again,
are plenty.
I'm very positive for Armenia because the background of us Armenians is very great, because we are always people are trying to create things, and now with the new positive impact on Armenia, there are a lot of smart people there. There are a lot of smart Armenian out of the country, and I'm very positive that this technical digital world can bring Armenia really to the front of and help to increase the economy. Very good. But before doing that, people need to do their homework and put some effort into it, and really try to sell specific things and learn from there. This is very important.
Yeah, cool. So maybe one also personal note from my side. I think it's also very important to show, for example, Armenia as a country. Yeah, Armenia is a country where it's worth living. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm one of the maybe 10, 20 German people living in Armenia.
Yeah.
Or maybe there are more, but I don't know the exact numbers. At least in Dilijan, where I'm based, there are not so many German people living. Yeah, and I think it's like there are a lot of reasons why you can move to Armenia. Yeah, and why also for developers, it's a very interesting market, interesting country. Yeah, and so Sevan, spread the word about Armenia also in Cologne, in your.
For sure, and this is actually what I'm doing since I was a student at the university. So we did a lot of projects, and we did a lot of readings about the genocide, about Armenia as a country, about the Armenian literature, food, etc. So we are really doing a lot of things. Maybe we're not as good as organized as other countries, but we for sure can do more and help you guys, and also bring Armenia in the startup world to the forefront and say, listen, guys, there is still a small hub, but with a lot of talented and smart people who want to help you and do honest and good work, because this is actually what we Armenians are known for, at least in Iran and Russia. And this is something we can, bring to the IT world.
Yeah, super. So I hope when we will look back, maybe in some years, we will see how much further the Armenian tech scene, IT scene developed. Yeah, and that there are maybe even more people from, I would say, EU and other countries coming to Armenia. And developing together Armenia as a country, Armenia as an IT hub. So thank you very much, Sevan.
Thank you. Yeah. And let's point it out. The beginning is difficult, but when you start and move forward, then projects come.
Exactly.
I cross the fingers. Happy to connect with you guys. Thank you, Ricardo, again for inviting me. Very honored. And guys, if you have questions, shoot them out to me, and I'm happy to help you. And but do your homework.
People can contact you on LinkedIn, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
For example. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Love to.
So great.
Ricardo,
yeah. So
vielen Dank.
Thank you very much.
Und auf Wiedersehen.
Genau.
Stay tuned. Ciao, Durachazam. Bari Rico.
Yes, okay.
All right.